Okay, I guess I'll just do everything with the recording. That's fine. Is Ben ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, DevSync. So our segregation is now, I have updated everything. It's rebased to the latest develop. I saw there was a bunch of new commits to that branch, so that's done. So that's done. I updated it to add the latest test requirements from ABW, so that's done. There was a few requests by the community to add two new PSFL operations. One to record the missed blocks, which makes it easier to track whenever someone misses a block or not. And another to log the, let's say, the Hive in and HBD out whenever you do a Hive transfer to the treasury accounts, because right now that information is not logged, which is annoying for people who try to build trackers. So that's also done, pushed, replayed, tested. So that's cool. And
wait, which part is done? Sorry, I lost track.
The well, technically all of my developments, let's say, but I added two new VOps in another merge request, and so yeah, that's tested, replayed, and so it should be ready. I mean, it's a VOP, so it's not too complicated. Meanwhile, what else? Yeah, I think that's about it. I have a bunch of topics regarding HiveMine, which will be my next focus unless more stuff comes in with our segregations. But yeah, we can talk about that later. That's it for me.
Okay, so the new VOPs were producer missed. I'm reading now on HBD and HBD. Okay, HBD in and HBD out values when sending Hive to the treasury account.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, yeah, I understand now. I think I just missed exactly what was going on with the producer missed part. I think I got confused because I saw the additional VOPs that you were talking about and that you have listed for the get vests to Hive block, and I thought it was somehow related to that. Okay,
no, that's something else.
Yeah, now I get it now. As far as we've been working on, a lot of work on half primarily. We did I guess you could call a pre-release of half to a master branch finally. So we did that so that we could make changes quickly, develop without interfering with anybody who wants to start experimenting with half now. So that the version that's now in master can be checked out. It'll we've synced it up to head block, and takes about 10 hours on a fairly fast machine to do. So figure longer if your machine is not extremely fast, but pretty good speed. And we've got a bunch of half apps that you can try out too, as far as examples go. The big thing that's still missing, which is probably a reason for most people to hold off on trying it yet, is we're still working on some scripts to simplify the installation, which basically does things like install the dependencies and even set up a half database itself. Basically, it's set it up so that when you can do a replay from Hive-D. So I'd say if you haven't already experimented with half, probably just wait, because that'll save you a lot of pain figuring out the installation steps and being sure you get it all right across whatever version you're using. Anyways, the other things we've been working on, Hive-D we've been working on as well. We're doing some work there to try to speed up the get block call, and we've had some success finally. I don't know, I think the last time I saw it looks like it's about overall twice as fast now. And the serialization, which was the part that was what we're speeding up, is about 3 times as fast, if I remember correctly. I don't know if you remember, Bartek, does that sound about right?
Yes, that seems exactly. And what more important, the serialization speed up has positive impact for every API call, because we have optimized calls to FC JSON conversions. And maybe we will try to speed up it again a little more, because as far as we have analyzed the code, also mutable variant object and variant object representations could be simplified, and that changes could result in better performance, especially during API calls. So I hope we'll be able to speed up more this actually critical part of our application and get positive impact for every part visible to the client side calling the APIs.
Yeah. So just to clarify, so what we're talking about is speeding up the code that serializes the output of API call. So this will have the most impact to any API call that returns a lot of data. So get block obviously returns a lot of data. So it has a fair amount of impact there, but any other API too that happens to return a lot of information, the faster serialization will obviously speed things up a lot. Okay, let's see what else. Anything? There's been a bunch of other stuff, but I think I've covered it in my posts and past, and plus I don't have all the details. I haven't even put it all together yet. So let's just move on, I think, to the new stuff.
New stuff. So yeah, speaking of instant withdrawals, I don't think we'll ship that into hard fork 26, but I just wanted to get your input on who, when, and kind of your overall stance in terms of complexity. I feel like it's doable, but it's mostly about how we would do it in regards to
Yeah, so I mean,
manpower.
I think it's definitely doable. I think we should do it. I don't think we should do it in this hard fork. Mainly because I think we want to be sure we have broad agreement on it before anything else, you know, as the community. My thoughts on it are a couple. I think first that it should be some kind of opt-in thing so that you don't get it by default. So there's some time period you'd say I want to allow instant withdrawals from my account, and then some time period has to expire, you know, of reasonable length, maybe even 3 months, you know, basically the normal power down period. And then after that, your account would then have the instant power down ability, but you basically had to say, I know what I'm doing and I'm taking off the training wheels and safety margins, because it's not just training wheels. It's like disabling your sensors on your car. And the other thing, I guess, is the discussion of potential costs for it. And there's been a couple different proposals along those lines. So I think that's something that would be up for discussion. I think that I've seen, you know, the idea of maybe a couple % cost to get spurned when you do it, and to me that seems reasonable. But anyways, I guess it'll really be up to, you know, stakeholders in general to see what they want in that part, and I think that's the part that's probably most contentious potentially.
Yeah, most likely. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Arkanj.
Yeah, and what would be your opinion to use best way to discuss about it, either in Mattermost or create an issue and discuss it on the issue on GitLab?
I guess I figured mostly Hive posts and then maybe a Mattermost issue too. I mean, maybe a GitLab issue too. So I was thinking somebody could, you know, make a proposal for it as far as what they think it should do. And I mean, maybe we can just dig up some proposals and that have been done in the past and just reference them in a new post and discuss it. But I don't really want to get into it right now because I'm distracted with other stuff, frankly. And I don't see us doing it in this hard fork anyways. So I think we should just re-bring this up after the hard fork is my hope on this.
Okay, I agree on putting it into the next hard fork, not this one.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. The only thing I saw against it, apart from the whole training wheel side, was the fact that then it could incentivize exchanges from powering up, which could be an issue.
That's why the cost comes in, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to, you know, pretty much be a non-starter for exchanges if they have to spend a couple of percentage of their customers' funds in order to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, I kind of wanted to get some early discussion so we can then make a post and everything. Okay, then there was a question by, I think it's Mintrawa. He wanted to add a VOP to be published to basically every X blocks. For instance, every 1 million, we log the vest to Hive value. Because I don't that could also be done on like a layer 2 situation, like HiveDB, for instance. But at the same time, that VIAP would virtually cost nothing and allow us to do it directly. And also,
well, I mean, it's not
yeah,
going to
go
be exact though, right? I mean, if you publish it once every, I mean, the ratio changes every block.
Yeah, but the issue is that now that information is kind of lost already. I mean, it's not lost, but my point is, if someone wants to start logging it now, he will never have the historical values, unless you make like a custom Hive D and publish it to yourself to backfill the DB. I guess you could do that.
Yeah, I think we've done that before here at blocktrades.
Or you can do doing it by streaming all blocks and recomputing it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
something basically like that's what he's saying. I think that's basically what we did for some of our accounting at one point. We just made some modifications like that to do that.
So yeah, maybe we could do that and then add it to a half app or something.
Yeah, I'll talk to the guy who did it here. He's on vacation right now, but he should be back probably tomorrow, I think, and see what we did. As far as I know, it's just a modified Hive D. I mean, maybe we could just even commit those changes if we haven't already, which I suppose we probably haven't.
Yeah, it's like a compile flag or something.
Exactly, and then if somebody wants to do it, they can just run that version.
Yeah, but then that weren't you working on a like accounting half-based app or something? I guess that would be.
There are some half apps that we've got. There's a balance tracker app that Bartek wrote that basically, and then some other guys are working on now. But it'll allow you to track your balance over time. So it's not really the same thing at all. But I mean.
Oh yeah, but I guess that would be a good application.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
that.
it's certainly a half app I think could be created for this. That's for sure. What it would look like, I think we need to look at and talk about a little bit. But yeah,
sounds good.
That's certainly another possibility.
Yeah, finally we spoke about this like 10 meetings ago. It was about like basically adding recurrent transfers on HiveMind. Back then we were like, it would make more sense to have it as a half app. The issue that if it's as a half app, as I was like digging through things, I realized that then we cannot really benefit from it in a HiveMind application to like enable paid communities and stuff like this.
Why can't you?
Well, because it adds a new dependency on everything.
And well, we're about to. I mean, you know, our next plan is to convert HiveMind to be a half app.
Yeah, but then would it be able to talk with other half apps, or then would you like enable a module?
Oh yeah, you can. There certainly can have half apps talk to each other locally.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, basically, because they're in a shared database, they can very directly communicate. You can avoid API calls and just directly talk to each other's.
As in they would both be tied to the same Postgres database and populate different tables.
Yeah, you can sync them together.
Oh yeah, which would be a start of like modular HiveMind we've been talking about for a bit.
Yep.
Do you have a? I mean, I know we never ask about timelines, but do you know when more or less you guys will start working on that?
Well, we kind of already started. I don't know if Bartek can probably comment on where we were at, but I think primarily we just wanted to make some architectural improvements to it.
It being half or HiveMind?
Making HiveMind a half app.
Yes, to make, we have made some preliminary version of HiveMind working together with Hive, but to use all features of Hive and significantly simplify architecture of HiveMind Sync, we need to redesign a few parts of data interface providing operations to the HiveMind. And because we were focused most of the time on the Hive implementation itself, optimizations and others, actually that part related to improving HiveMind to support direct Hive synchronization was a little delayed. But I hope once most of the team will return back from vacations, because the period now is mostly used by employees for vacations. We can get back to that part, and I hope maybe we can see some newer version in this part at the end of January.
But more likely February.
Yeah.
Classic.
Perfect in this year.
Okay, cool. Would you reckon that then we would delay any communities improvement or not?
You can make communities improvement in the meantime. It doesn't, I don't think it'll really impact anything, because assuming all your changes are on the query side, but it depends on exactly what you're doing. If there's something you'd benefit from using Half, I mean, the way Half works is you get these basic tables, and then your application builds these auxiliary tables, right?
Okay.
So if all you're going to do with your new queries is work with those auxiliary tables, then you could just go ahead. If you want to use some of the tables that Half provides, then you'd probably want to wait.
Yeah, okay.
And so Half tables are like blocks, transactions, operations, and accounts.
Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, I was just wondering, because like Bartek mentioned, we would change the way HiveMind ingests data, so I was curious about that.
Yeah, so part of that is just that some of HiveMind makes various API calls to HiveD right now. And so some of it's been changed to pull the data directly from the tables, but I think not all of it has yet been. So we're just in the process. We didn't get to the point where every API call got replaced by using data from the database tables instead of from HiveD.
Okay,
yes, exactly. We have made some architectural changes in HiveMind a few months ago, which quite hard separate data, the supply part, which right now is based on API calls providing operations, from processing them by HiveMind. So hopefully reimplementation is needed only in part, or actually some completion of implementation is needed in part providing the data. And we don't need to touch any other part of HiveMind, especially parts specific to storing HiveMind specific data on or serving their API calls. So definitely other parts will be not touched, but this implementation. But as I said previously, doing such things in halfway will simplify implementation and provide better performance in synchronization. And as I remember, in the past, some initial measures gave us probably 2 hours less time than original one. It was maybe 10 or 15% of overall. So quite effective change. So hopefully it can be done quite smooth and easy.
Okay, cool. Okay, sounds good. Anything else from you guys?
I don't have anything, and my lunch is waiting.
When can we expect having a testnet for Art4 26?
Good question. I think the earliest would be the end of January, and that may be optimistic. There's still got some stuff that we need to do on HiveD that I haven't even started on yet. I'm going to start on with another guy here once he gets back from vacation. And so that's kind of the sticking point. And we could do a test. We could do a test net before then, but I don't think it really makes sense to do it without all the changes to HiveD itself, at least. So I think late January is an aggressive target that we'll try for.
I may start a testnet just for RC delegations, so that the
absolutely anybody can start I guess really I'm talking about one we're managing. If anybody wants to start a testnet and test what we've got, that's great.
Yeah, in terms of actual nomenclature, it would mostly be a DevNet just so that the front ends can look at the API calls and provide the feedback.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
So I think this that testnet would ship probably mid-January or something. I'm just waiting for maybe another review to see if like they have more feedback on the inputs, but I don't.
Well, if you do that, you could also experiment if you wanted with some of the stuff that's been done by Bartek's team on the basically filling a test net with the blockchain too. Like it's like from the real net. You might want to play with that. I don't know. Just something.
Oh yeah, there is no documentation on that anywhere, right?
I don't know. Yes,
actually, there is no need to have much documentation for it, because all what we need is spawn a tool which converts original blockchain into
testnet blockchain.
mirror one, testnet one, and next step is just to replay Hive using this blockchain. Of course, both need to have the same chain ID assigned. Anyway, there is still one change waiting for merge, and this will be done probably this week if I don't see any opposites here. This change is also requested for next hard fork and is specific to two-step serialization of transactions for legacy mode and new mode.
Okay.
And we have done it, and that part is actually required also for live synchronization of mainnet and mirrornet.
Okay.
Otherwise,
well, that was good timing.
Yes. So after doing that, we can convert blockchain to mirror one, start Hive node, and next start live synchronization to have all the time up-to-date mirror blockchain to mainnet. And I hope that's very good environment for every test. Of course, we have a control over every account there, so contacting to administrator of given net or setuping but by self allow given user to test everything what is possible at blockchain, especially RC delegations.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, so it sounds like next week or so it should be ready if you want to try it. And I think he's saying it's basically just run a command line to do the conversion, and then you're set to go.
Yeah, I'll try to. I'll play with that next week then. I'll try to follow around the issue list. What's the name of the merge request? I guess I can figure that out. Don't need to waste your time. Okay.
So when you say we will have a testnet aggressively end of January, it means that we won't see a hard fork before end of February.
That's my anticipation, yes.
Yeah. Or maybe later.
Yes, it could be later. Absolutely, I don't know yet. So, but I think that's the earliest we could see one is end of February. That's what I would like in an ideal world. Hello.
I have a question. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering where do you have a timeline for a testnet with HAF support?
That is actually feasible anytime. We can basically that is pretty straightforward to do anytime. It's available now. So I mean, I think if he builds it, it's already in develop. So if you use the only question, yeah. Bartek, let me just be sure. So I know we've got the Hive D that has half support merged into half, and is that from the that's the develop branch of Hive D, right?
Yes, exactly. That's top of the developer.
Yeah. So so the answer is that any testnet that's built from develop now will have half support in it.
Okay, sounds good. Then maybe we could have a public testnet that we can use to develop.
Sorry, but why do you want to make a testnet for half? Using testnet for half means that you need to supply whole blockchain to fill half with data. So maybe that's expected scenario, but I'm not sure if really we want to do that. Better is to fill database using current
data,
blockchain
real-
data, real
yeah.
data, and next make some experiments. So
Okay, well, currently I'm working on polls now, but I also have other stuff that I'm working on, including a dApp. And so if I want to test the custom JSON operations that I'm posting, I have to post them on the mainnet. And so
Okay,
if
so
we
you just
had
want to
a,
avoid posting to the mainnet is basically what
Yeah.
the desire.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it should be relatively straightforward. Just run a test net. Maybe how you could make yours a little more public, I guess.
Yeah, I could just rent a server to like bigger so that I can make a big one. What are the requirements again to run a full-fledged testnet?
Yeah, I don't know, just 2 GB of RAM or something. We can talk later on and figure out our semi-public.
Yeah, we can build a
testnet.
devnet. That makes sense.
Yes, because I wanted to delay that to the moment when we have all the components and pretty much starting testing for new hard fork, but we can run that earlier.
Yeah, we can sync on that offline. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. Anything else?
Not for me.
All right. Have a good lunch, blocktrades, and
Thanks. See you guys.
see you everyone.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.